AEW signing top free agents, plus so much more right here on The Ango Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, I appreciate you guys coming every single day, staying in touch with everything that's happening in pro wrestling. I appreciate you guys. I want to kick things off with this. Roxanne Perez, some canceled plans for her, some scrapped creative plans, according to Fightful Select. They provided an update noting that NXT sources have said that Roxanne Perez has not filled the spot that was supposed to be filled by Cora Jade on WWE TV. Actually, what was really planned was that WWE was trying to bring Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade together as heels. However, Cora Jade had gotten injured. Now, keep in mind, in 2022, they actually won the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Then we all saw what happened. Cora Jade turned on Roxanne Perez. It was obviously a very big deal. It spiraled into a really cool storyline. And obviously, WWE wanted to bring them back together. And it makes sense. WWE officials are obviously reportedly very high on both of them. I totally get it. I totally understand. Roxanne Perez has been doing a really good job with this heel character. And I think it's important to mention that Roxanne has actually really done, obviously it's not the same thing as Drew McIntyre, but her heel turn was like a small evolution. It didn't just happen right away. And I did appreciate that from WWE. I really do like her work. I think she's a fantastic talent, but also at the same time too, it's like, what else can you do with Roxanne Perez, at this stage of the game? Like, what else can you do? She's accomplished so much in NXT already, and I just kind of wonder, okay, well, are they going to call her up to the main roster? If we know that she's, if WWE officials are currently high on her, like we all know it's said to be, then you would expect her to be called up, and people expected her to be called up by the Royal Rumble, and obviously that didn't happen. Then post Royal Rumble, obviously that didn't happen, and it makes sense because WWE was primarily planning her and Cora Jade to be on television together. So it is something to kind of, hey, do they get back to that? Does WWE end up going back to that? I don't know. Cora Jade's going to be out for a while, so it doesn't necessarily make the most sense for that to be the case, but of course, you never really know in WWE situation. I don't know if WWE necessarily needs to call up Roxanne Perez, but what I do know is that WWE just called up Tiffany Stratton. And obviously, WWE officials were very high on Tiffany Stratton for a while, but the rumor was that Tiffany Stratton was supposed to be in NXT while Cora Jade moves up to the main roster. That obviously didn't happen. So WWE filled the void on the main roster with one call-up. Now, how do they go about it with Roxanne and Cora Jade later on? I really don't know, but we will see when the time comes. Guys, Matt Hardy is, he's got a lot of people. He's got a lot of people talking, right? We've been talking about this quite a bit. But now, he was talking to Chris Van Vliet on the Insight podcast, and he keeps talking about this potential WWE return. He says, it's great that people think that. It makes me happy. It makes people excited. If you hear someone talk about a ladder match, are they going to show up? That's great. I don't know. It's pro wrestling, and in pro wrestling, never say never. Obviously, the fact that Matt Hardy is publicly teasing any sort of return to the WWE it's fascinating for a multitude of reasons. But for me, I think it's not happening, right? I do think Matt Hardy ends up staying in AEW. But if Matt Hardy did return to WWE, I think we also got to factor in the fact that maybe Jeff Hardy will not be sticking around. However, you got to remember their contracts expire at different times, right? So Matt Hardy, we talked about it this week, or in the past week, I should say. Matt Hardy is reviewing a new contract offer from AEW, but his situation is different than Jeff Hardy. And because of that, it's important that we have that discussion that if Matt Hardy were to return to WWE at WrestleMania 40 as part of the ladder match, if he were to be there with Jeff Hardy, it seems to me that AEW would have to allow that to happen. Now, you have to wonder if that would be the case. You have to wonder if AEW would allow Jeff Hardy out of his contract early in order for Matt and Jeff to go have one final run in the WWE. And I think it's so crazy that it's even a possibility, because we saw them return to WWE as part of a surprise many, many years ago. And then we saw how everything just kind of went, and it obviously didn't work out for the better, in my opinion. I feel like their run in AEW has been slightly disastrous. And I think Matt Hardy with Jeff Hardy is the issue. I think Matt Hardy as a solo act in AEW was fine. But when Jeff got there, I think things really fell apart. So for me as a fan, I wouldn't mind seeing them, I guess, do one final run in WWE. But I just saw what they did for Sting. What AEW did for Sting was incredible, and I feel like AEW would do that for the Hardys. But who knows, man? If Matt Hardy and Jeff show up at WrestleMania 40, that would be quite incredibly insane just for the surprise factor. But then really, what else do you do with Matt and Jeff Hardy in 2024? I think that's a serious question that needs answers. And you know, there's a lot of other tag teams that WWE is trying to push. And I think there's a very big significance here that people do have to consider. Matt and Jeff Hardy, they're at the end of their career. Like they may be just a few years left, but we're getting closer and closer to the end of the career. For WWE, they are going to be a legacy act. And I don't know if them being in WWE does any benefit for them or for the company. But the reason why I do bring this up is because AEW is reportedly the favor to be signing Motor City Machine Guns. Now, there is a belief backstage in TNA that Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are going to be signing with AEW. Obviously, you know, AEW could bring them in for Dynasty. AEW, just like WWE, is trying to get their tag team division. Maybe this is a situation where AEW lets Matt and Jeff Hardy go, but they bring in Motor City Machine Guns instead. I like Chris Sabin. I like Alex Shelley. I'm going to be very blunt here. And this might not be the popular opinion. This has nothing to do with AEW or WWE, but I am really tired of seeing TNA talent just get gutted from their company going to WWE or AEW. You know, and I get why. I understand that WWE and AEW pay more money than TNA, but it's been very bothersome to me to see so many people leave TNA, especially in the past year. They're leaving TNA, they're going to AEW or whatever, and it's just like, I want them to stay in TNA. I want them to help contribute to the growth of TNA, but I don't blame them either. Please understand that. I don't blame them for leaving TNA, but I wish they would stay in TNA. Especially Motor City Machine Guns. You know what I'm saying? To me, they're always going to be synonymous with TNA. You know, AEW just released 10 people, and now you're going to bring in more people. The optics of it are bad, but it does make sense for them to go to AEW. That's just the reality. I think Motor City Machine Guns would be fun in WWE, and I think they'll be fun in AEW, but I would much rather see them just stay in TNA, and that just doesn't seem likely. They are officially free agents today. The backstage belief is that they're going to be in AEW. Maybe AEW lets Matt and Jeff go, and they're going to WrestleMania. Maybe Motor City Machine Guns show up in AEW at Dynasty. I don't know. Are you guys tired of the signings? Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, we'll see how it all goes down. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching The Ango Show.